Behind the scenes students, here is a guideline on how to present your AV product to your client. And because this presentation was made by Dennis Hooftman, it feels a little bit wrong for me to budge in too much and to put myself in the picture, so you can only hear me this time. Obviously, the presentation is the last stage of your production. You're presenting to the client. You're going to tell them what you ended up with because they've been going with you through the whole process, and now you are presenting your final product. Some tips of what to do and what not to do. Preparation is half the work, so make sure that everything is working. So all the machinery that you're using, is it on? Is it sharp? Is it loud? Does it do what it needs to do? Your presentation itself, make sure that everybody understands their task and that you have rehearsed it, that you know what to say and when to say it. Always know a little bit more than what you are putting in your presentation, so I'm not saying leave anything essential out, but be prepared for questions. Anticipate the most obvious ones. Keep it short, keep it to the point, keep it informative. Is your PowerPoint or your Prezi going to add something to what you're saying? Make sure that it does. Oh, and switch off your phones, unless, of course, you have to use them for the presentation. Some ideas of what to include in your presentation. You may not want to use all of them, but there are some ingredients here that are usually to be found in such presentations. You could start by recapping the briefing, so flashing back basically to what the client has told you to do. Also including your debriefing, so how you interpreted their briefing. Talk about the creative direction you have taken based on your briefing, based on your research, and maybe discuss the several concepts that you have come up with to lead up to that one final concept. Definitely talk a lot about the final concept, of course. Make sure you emphasize what it does do, what it's good at, what the concept really works for, but also don't be afraid to very briefly point out what should not be expected from this concept. You could show us the process of work, so basically give a kind of behind the scenes look at your process. Talk about your planning as well. What were you expecting would happen and what did actually happen? Don't lose too much time on that because the concept, the final product, is the most important thing, but it's always good to hear a little bit about the making of. A very important section, of course, is the findings from your focus group. What did they say? What did these people think? Because they're in the target audience, so how did they feel about your production? This hopefully will give your client a lot of confidence in what it is that you have done, because here you can prove that the focus group, so a selection of the people in the target audience, have said, wow, this is mind-blowing, or this is such a good insight, or this really activated me, or gave me, something new to think about. If you found the time to make some improvements based on this focus group research, please also mention that here. And if you want to practice for your presentation, why not make a small presentation of your own concept or concepts from way back in UOS 1 and give this presentation to your teammates. See what they have to say about it. You can find a PDF version of this presentation on Moodle. For students in The Hague, I will be going live on Microsoft Teams to answer your questions about this. So speak soon.